Hello everyone. Today we'll be sharing the next story of our character of the day, Marcus. This is a story shared directly by him about the experience of overcoming one of the darkest moments of his life. Through his journey, Marcus reveals the strength of resilience and the power of compassion in the face of misunderstanding. It is a deeply moving tale that reminds us how one person's courage can transform a community. So, let's dive into Marcus's story and discover the lessons he learned along the way.
When I was 12, Marcus moved into our quiet suburban neighborhood, where green lawns and neighborly smiles define daily life. Within hours, rumors spread like wildfire. Mrs. Henderson, the local gossip, whispered to the housewives, "He's the ex-convict, tied to crimes against kids." My mom, Sarah, usually gentle, gripped my hand so tightly it left marks. "Don't go near that house, Emma," she ordered, her voice trembling with fear I didn't recognize. I wanted to ask why, but her eyes silenced me. The entire neighborhood, from stern Mr. Thompson to anxious Mrs. Patterson, plunged into panic. They held an emergency meeting plotting to oust Marcus, though the lawyer said he'd served his sentence. The mailman refused to deliver to his door. Mothers yanked their kids inside whenever he appeared. "Beware of strangers" signs sprouted on lawns. Marcus, a tall man in a worn jacket, became a specter in everyone's eyes, a danger needing no proof. From my bedroom window, I watched Marcus. He tended his garden meticulously, planting sunflowers and tomatoes, labeling them with handwritten signs. When kids ran by, he stepped back, avoiding their gaze, as if afraid to disturb them. It struck me as odd. If he was dangerous, why avoid them? Mom called him a monster, but I saw no signs. My family, especially Mom, shaped my fear. Every night, she locked doors, checked windows, and whispered to Dad, "I guarantee, want Emma out when he's around." Pastor Williams, whom Mom trusted, warned me about men who pretend to be kind to manipulate children. He gave me a pamphlet on grooming tactics, but I was confused. Marcus didn't try to win anyone over. He didn't smile, didn't talk, just quietly gardened.
Hi.
Then I noticed small details. Every day at 4:15 p.m., as I walked home from school, Marcus's porch light flicked on, then off when I reached our driveway. When the Parker brothers chased and teased me, Marcus appeared nearby, silent, and they fled. Once a ball rolled into his yard. He picked it up, tossed it back gently to a boy, and retreated inside. These actions weren't menacing, they felt protective. I jotted notes in a journal like a young scientist, questioning, if Marcus was bad, why didn't he act like it? But Mom wouldn't listen. "You don't understand," she snapped when I tried to tell her. "He's dangerous." No. The neighborhood agreed. Mrs. Henderson organized safety patrols to monitor Marcus, sounding alarms whenever he left home. "He's heading toward the school," Mrs. Patterson would call, and mothers rushed kids indoors. I was torn between the fear Mom instilled and my curiosity about Marcus. He didn't seem like the monster they described. No one was hurt near him. There was no evidence, only whispers. I wanted to trust Mom, but what I saw was different. Once, Mom took me to see Pastor Williams. He spoke of how predators feigned kindness to gain trust, but Marcus wasn't doing that. He didn't try to befriend me, didn't invite me inside, didn't match anything in the pastor's pamphlet. I began to doubt. Was my family wrong? Was the whole neighborhood afraid of a phantom? One afternoon, everything changed. I stayed late at the library, and on my walk home, Jake Morrison and his friends cornered me behind the gas station. They shoved me against a wall, tore my homework, kicked my water bottle into a puddle. Jake mocked me while Tyler filmed, calling me a loser. I tried not to cry, my heart pounding. Then Marcus stepped out from the shadows. No theatrics, just a calm question. "Problem here?" His voice was low, chilling enough to make Jake pale. "No, sir, nothing," Jake stammered, and they ran. Marcus helped me pick up my books, his movements careful. "You okay?" he asked. Nodded. "Good, get home, it's dark." He walked away without another word. I told Mom, but didn't mention who saved me. She panicked, insisting I never walk alone, that the neighborhood was full of dangers. But I thought of Marcus, the man everyone feared, who had just protected me. The next day, Mom was furious when Mrs. Chen said she saw me talking to Marcus. "I told you to stay away from him," she yelled, her voice breaking with fear. She dragged me to the pastor, who repeated warnings about predators. I promised to keep my distance, but I didn't believe it. Marcus wasn't like that. Started observing him more closely, treating him like a puzzle. He drove an old Honda Civic, worked night shifts at Morrison's warehouse, kept a strict schedule. On weekends, he gardened, but if kids came outside, he went indoors. When Girl Scouts knocked, he left an envelope of money taped to his door, avoiding contact. If he was dangerous, why go to such lengths to avoid kids? One day, I deliberately walked through Riverside Park instead of going straight home. Jake and his friends cornered me again. My heart raced, fearing I'd misjudged Marcus. But then he appeared, voice calm. "Emma, time to go home." The boys slunk away. As we walked, he said quietly, "Don't be reckless like that again. Those kids are more dangerous than you think." I asked, "How did you know I was there?" He replied, "I didn't. I heard your voice passing by." Then he looked at me serious. "Next time, if you want to know something, just ask. Don't put yourself in danger." I took his advice. The next Saturday, seeing him in his garden, I approached the fence. "You said I could ask?" I said. He set down his trowel, giving me his full attention. For the first time, I saw his eyes weren't just sad, they carried an untold story. "Why do people think you hurt kids?" I asked. He paused, then said, "Because I did hurt someone, but not the way they think." Before I could ask more, Mom's voice cut through the yard. "Emma Marie Johnson, get away from that fence." That night, she was furious, calling the pastor and police, saying Marcus violated parole by talking to me. I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. "You don't know how dangerous he is?" she said, voice trembling. I saw her fear, but also the injustice to Marcus. Days later, I heard shouting from his yard. Peeking out, I saw 3 men surrounding him, yelling, "We know what you did, you sick freak." Marcus stood still, hands down. "I understand why you're angry," he said. "But I've never hurt a child and never will." He looked up, meeting my eyes through the window. He wasn't scared, just weary. The next morning, I found a note on our mailbox. Check News Archives, March 15th, 2018. I biked to the library, where Mrs. Martinez helped me find the article. Page 3, a small headline. Man sentenced for assaulting child abuser. My heart raced. Marcus Torres wasn't a predator. He'd attacked David Kellerman, a child abuser, after police ignored his reports. He gathered evidence, but no one listened, so he acted, paying with 3 years in prison. The article quoted Detective Mills. Mr. Torres' actions were legally wrong, but likely prevented further victims. 17 kids later came forward, and Kellerman got life without parole. Marcus wasn't a monster. He was a protector. I brought the article to Mom. She read it, hands shaking, eyes tearing up. "God, we were wrong," she whispered. She pored over every story, then walked to Marcus's house, articles in hand. From my window, I saw her speak. Marcus nod, then gently closed the door. "I apologized," Mom said when she returned. "I was wrong to judge him." The neighborhood began to shift. Mrs. Henderson, who'd led the campaign against Marcus, brought cookies to apologize. Mr. Thompson shook his hand, muttering regrets, where signs came down, replaced by tentative waves. Then one day, police cars arrived not for Marcus, but for Dr. Brennan, a child psychologist 2 houses down. He ran workshops on protecting kids, tutored at home, and was trusted by all. But Marcus had watched him, collecting evidence of his abuse. He sent files to Detective Mills, and police found horrific evidence in Brennan's home. Images, videos, records of at least 12 victims, including my friend Jenny. Marcus didn't just save me from bullies. He saved our neighborhood from a true monster hiding in plain sight. Now I'm 25, a social worker, protecting children. I sit on a park bench where our neighborhood built a tribute to Marcus. He left months after Brennan's arrest. Not because he was hated, but because he craved peace. He left me a note. "Emma, thank you for daring to seek the truth. Keep asking questions. Some truths make people uncomfortable, but they're the most important. Trust yourself. Stay safe." In his garden, he left a small box with a bike lock key, a photo of him in a military police uniform, and a note: "Kids should ride safely, free from bullies, or worse." Afghanistan, 2009. Protecting others sometimes requires sacrifices they don't understand. I learned Marcus was a military police officer, investigating abuse, protecting civilians, especially kids, his whole life at great cost. Our neighborhood transformed. Brennan's house was razed, replaced by a park and community garden. A plaque on the bench reads, "In memory of courage for those who speak when no one listens." Marcus taught me that family doesn't just shield, teaches us to question, to seek truth. Mom learned to apologize, to listen, and taught me fear can blind us, but compassion opens light. Marcus didn't just protect kids, saved our neighborhood from its own prejudice. He sacrificed his peace to ensure ours, despite being misunderstood and shunned. This story resonates because it's not just about Marcus or me. It's about family, how parents shape their kids' world. Mom feared for me like any parent. Learn protecting isn't just locking doors, it's teaching kids to question, to find truth. Marcus bore scars, not just on his hands, but in his heart, from years in prison for doing right. I carry his lesson. Protecting children demands courage. Sometimes sacrifice, others don't grasp. In America, where communities pride themselves on unity, this story reminds us prejudice can divide, but understanding heals. We've all feared like my mom, judged like my neighborhood, and been curious like the 12-year-old me. But we can also be Marcus, quietly protecting even when the world turns.